Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
And I'm Tilina Udayaratna. For starters, we take a look at tonight's top stories. The President emphasizes on the need of a field with construction associated with sustainable development. The Prime Minister says that the program to upgrade the country will be continuously conducted by establishing a one-party government. Minister Sajid Premadasa accorded a warm welcome in Mathura. The decision of the Supreme Court regarding the conducting of local government elections will be submitted to the President. Kanjipani Imran receives a 6-year imprisonment. The Parissamenging in the program is praised once again.
And we move on to those and other stories in detail. The necessity for a construction field associated with sustainable development is a priority need, states President Maithripala Sirisena. The problems and issues faced by the relevant field will be provided priority attention of the government, he further states. The President made this declaration while addressing the opening ceremony of the Construction 2019 International Exhibition today. The Construction 2019 exhibition is being held at the BMICH. The Sri Lanka National Construction Association is organising this exhibition for the 19th time. There are over 250 exhibition stalls that have been established at this exhibition. Among the fields displayed in the stalls are construction, engineering, agriculture and information technology. The exhibition will continue until the 25th of this month. President Maithripala Sirisena said that the construction field had a great influence on the preservation and protection of the environment. This was forgotten by the politicians and the scientists of the world. However, during the last 25 to 30 years, the world became more aware on the preservation of the environment, with the scientists and specialists from various fields taking more interest on the environment. Even though our public was also interested in the development efforts happening in the developed metropolis in the world, they became aware of how the construction industries influence the environment in facing development processes. In the construction field, there are two sectors, the state and the private, competing with each other. As such, this field is now influenced by the standardizations. The atmosphere has created a situation where the state as well as the private sector now engages themselves in a dialogue on how to achieve development, minimizing harm. The government will provide total support in their effort.
විශේෂයෙන්ම දේශීය ඉදිකිරීම් ශේෂ්ත්‍රය තුල රාජ්‍යාංශය හා පෞද්ගලික අංශයේ තිබෙන එක් පැත්තකින් තරඟකාරීත්වය තවත් පැත්තකින් ඒ ප්‍රමිතීන් වල තිබෙන දක්ෂතාවයන් අපි ඇගීමට ලක් කළ යුතු වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා රජය සහ රාජ්‍ය ආයතනත් පෞද්ගලික අංශයත් තම තමාට බලපාන්නා වූ මේ ශේෂ්ත්‍රයේ ගැටලු ප්‍රශ්න සාකච්ඡා කරමින් निराකරණය කරමින් මේ ශේෂ්ත්‍රය වඩා ඉදිරියට ගෙන යාමට කටයුතු කිරීම අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ නිසා අපි ඕනෑම වෙලාවක තමුන්නාන්සලාට රජයේ පැත්තෙන් අවශ්‍ය යම් සහයෝගයන් තිබෙනවා නම් ඒ සහයෝගයන් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ලබා දීමට කටයුතු කරන බව ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට ඕනේ.
Among the large crowds present were ministers and parliamentarians.
Two state ministers were sworn in by President Maithripala Sirisena today at the Presidential Secretariat. These two ministers who resigned their posts earlier were Mohammad Kasi Mohammad Faisal and Ali Zahir Maulana Zaid. They are members of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress. Mohammad Kasi Mohammad Faisal was sworn in as the State Minister for Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, while Ali Zahir Maulana Zaid was sworn in as the State Minister for Primary Industries and Social Empowerment.
Uniting the political parties, a single-party government will be formed in the future, says Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. He made these remarks at a ceremony held at the Temple Trees today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that they received a country without an economy, no reconciliation, no development. There was no GSP, no Supreme Court. But today there's a Supreme Court. There's law and order in the country. There's development and reconciliation. We have developed the country. There was no one willing to give a loan to Sri Lanka. We borrowed from someone else to pay the loans. With the Easter Sunday attacks, everybody thought the Sri Lankan economy will collapse. However, we have developed the economy. There are tourists coming now. The security of the country is assured. We have stopped the Hambantota harbour from incurring losses. Today there's 25% women in the local government institutions. The setbacks were created by the clash of opinions created by certain individuals. We have achieved progress which other governments could not. To achieve our targets, let us get together to form a single-party government.
එතන තියෙන විවිධ මත ගැටුම් හා පුද්ගලික චරිත ගැටුම් නිසා ආණ්ඩුවේ ඒ ප්‍රශ්න කාරණා ගණනාවක් අපිට ඉෂ්ට කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. ඒ වුණත් අපේ මේ සුළුතර ආණ්ඩුව ලංකාවේ තියෙන අනික් ආණ්ඩු ගණනාවකට වඩා ප්‍රශ්න විසඳලා අපි ඉදිරියට ගෙනිච්ච. අපි මෙච්චර කරා නම් සුළුතරයක් තියෙන ආණ්ඩුවක් අපි ඇති කරමු තනිපක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුවක්.
The ceremony was held to review the progress achieved during this year under the Rural Infrastructure Facilities Development Program of the Ministry of National Policy and Economic Affairs. The representatives of the local government institutions from Badulla, Munaragala and Ratnapura districts attended the ceremony.
The deputy leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajid Premadasa, received a warm reception today in Mathura during a public rally held at the Sanat Jayasuriya Stadium.
Sajid Premadasa Mantumata, Sajid Premadasa Mantumata, Anagata Nayakata, Anagata Rajya Nayakata, Anagata Janajmati Tumata, Anagata Janajmati Tumata, Anagata Janajmati Tumata, Anagata Janajmati Tumata, Anagata Rajya Nayakata. Durindurata hasrala rally terapena phalak udaveva.
This public rally, held under the title Sajid Enava, was organized by the UNP organizer of Mathura Finance Minister Mangala Samaravira and a group of parliamentarians and ministers. This is the second public rally organized to receive Minister Sajid Premadasa. The first rally was held in Badulla. Minister Mangala Samaravira said that Minister Sajid Premadasa was humble to accept my invitation and to come to Mathura irrespective of how the weather condition was. Monks seem to be imposing rules and regulations telling not to visit temples. There is no such problem. However, I am happy to inform that this government has allocated the highest amount of money to all temples around the country.
මම සන්තෝෂයි කියන්න ලංකා ඉතිහාසයේ වැඩිම මුදලක් පන්සල් සංවර්ධනය සඳහා වෙන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් කියන එක.
Minister Sajid Premadasa said that when we are attempting to create a gigantic Sri Lanka and a gigantic generation of people, we need to organize a national security program, a national economic program, a national program to unite the people, and a program to unify the country. To do all this, we will prepare plans. We hope to do all this so the people will be content with the plentiful economy they live in. We will not allow friendship gangs to prevail. In November, there will be an opportunity to create a turning point in the journey of this country. Through this turning point, we will strengthen the people by working day and night and lead them on a victorious path to rescue our country.
Creating a proud developed nation is my aim, says Minister Sajid Premadasa. The minister made this declaration insisting that in coming November, with the political changes, the total society will unite in brotherhood and a developed country will be created expeditiously. The minister expressed these opinions addressing a meeting at the Samaharama area. Minister Sajid Premadasa said that for decades our country, our people have been made to be divided on various issues. Now the time has come to unify the country and the people. It is promised by November, December of this year, the political barriers will be removed and all people in the country will unite.
දේශපාලනික කඩයිම තුල අලුත් මාතෘ භූමියක් එකමුතු වුණු මාතෘ භූමියක් ශීඝ්‍ර සංවර්ධනයක් ලබන මාතෘ භූමියක් මේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස නිර්මාණය කරනවාමයි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. එදා දුටු ගැමුණු රජ සමයේ මුළුමහත් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවම එක්සේසක් වුණා සේම එවන් අභිමානවත් යුගයක් එවන් සංවර්ධිත යුගයක් නිර්මාණය කිරීම මේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසගේ එකම බලාපොරොත්තුවයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ සඳහන් කරනවා. කාලයක් එළඹෙයි ඔබලාට ලෞතර බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කරපු උතුම් ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් නැවත මතක් කරගන්න. ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය තමයි කෙලෙහි ගුණ දැක්වීම. මගේ පියාණන් කිව්ව සත්‍යය කවදා හෝ ජයගනී. නොවැම්බර් දෙසැම්බර්
This meeting was organized connected with the vesting of Maharaja Gamini Abe Bridge across Kinindioya under the Samata Sahana program. The bridge was constructed joining Tissamaharama, Allagala and Beralihela areas. The total expenditure on this project was 159.2 million rupees. Constructed on the provisions of the ministry, the bridge will provide facilities to a number of villages in the areas concerned. Subsequently, the Prajarashmi Prajarjala program at Allagala Tissamaharama was vested with the people. The total money spent on this project under the Samata Sahana program was 18.3 million rupees, and it will provide welfare to over 500 families.
The Supreme Court's decision to seek the President's opinion on the issue whether the local government elections can be held without the Delimitation Committee's report and the fact of it not being approved by the Parliament was announced today by the panel of 5 justices led by the Chief Justice. The announcement is connected to seeking the Supreme Court's opinion on the above matter and was done before the panel of 5 justices led by Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya. The rest of the panel are Justices Buenaka Aluvihare, Sisira Diabru, Prasanna Jayawardena and Vijit Malalgoda. At the beginning of the investigation, Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya declared in the open courts in response to the inquiry submitted by the President that there were 13 petitions submitted to the Supreme Court from various parties. The Additional Solicitor General Indika Devamuni de Silva, speaking on behalf of the Attorney General, stated that the Attorney General has submitted a detailed written response regarding the opinions sought out by the President. The Additional Solicitor General stated that at the moment where the 2017 number 17 Act on Local Government Amendments are in force as a law, the Delimitation Committee is in the process of being activated. Once the delimitation tasks are completed, the report on it will be submitted to the President and the President will then have it published, and thus there is a possibility of local government elections being held, said the Additional Solicitor General Indika Devamuni de Silva. After considering all details, the panel of justices concluded the case on the issue submitted by the President and announced that the relevant report of the court will be submitted to the President confidentially.
Kanjipani Imran, an organised criminal, was committed to 6 years of hard labour by the Colombo High Court today. Accused of possessing 5 kilograms cannabis and trading them, the gang leader Kanjipani Imran was imprisoned for 6 years of hard labour. When the case was taken up before Magistrate Gihan Kalatunga of the Colombo High Court, he accepted committing these crimes. Accordingly, he was given a sentence of 3 years each for the 2 crimes amounting to 6 years of hard labours. The case against Kanjipani was filed by the Attorney General. Meanwhile, another accused in the assault of media person Keith Noah, the Army Staff Sergeant Shamika Sumit Kumara, was taken into custody by the CID yesterday. Now there are 9 people associated with this crime that have been taken into custody, says the police media spokesman SP Ruwan Gunasekara.
ගරු නීතිපතිතුමාගෙන් ලැබුණු උපදෙස් මත අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් මේ
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, says that the central bank hopes that the economic growth of the country would be 3.1% this year. The economic development of the first quarter has increased by 2.1%. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has reduced its policy interest rates. Accordingly, the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate of the Central Bank have been reduced by 50 basis points to 7% and 8% respectively. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank arrived at this decision following a careful analysis of current and expected developments in the domestic economy and the financial market as well as the global economy. The decision was taken with the aim of further supporting the revival of economic activity in the context of low inflation prevailing at present and the medium-term inflation outlook, which is well anchored in the desired 4 to 6% range, the central bank said. This was revealed at a press briefing held today at the central bank premises. Addressing the gathering, the governor said that investors should be vigilant as to where they invest money so that it gives them higher interest rates.
We are giving a very high priority to raising awareness. But essentially what we need to do is to warn people to make sure that they put their money into regulated entities. Hopefully we're going to publish the regulated entities as well. If you see an interest rate which is higher than what is there in the market, that you have to be very careful. That's really a red light. If somebody is giving you deposits which are well above the going rates, where are they going to get the rate of return to pay that? So you mustn't just go chasing the highest interest rate. If the interest rate is higher than what is there generally in the market, it is a danger sign. It is a danger sign. You must be very careful. We're not saying don't invest, but what we're saying is look at it very carefully. The developments in the trade account are very encouraging. And the rupee has appreciated by, I think, at the moment about 1.8%. In recent days, we have seen pressure in the FX market, but the underlying fundamentals do not really explain this pressure. So we think it will be short-lived. There may be other non-economic factors which are disturbing the market at the moment, but given the strong kind of underlying fundamentals as far as the external performance of the country is concerned at the moment, we do not see this as being a problem that's likely to be prolonged. And I should also point out that where the pressure is coming from is capital flows over the last 3-4 days. We have about $700 million of foreign institutional investment in the rupee securities market.
The manifesto of the Citizens' Movement for the presidential elections was published today. It is named Yahapalne Idirimaga. The Citizens' Movement, including the National Movement for a Just Society, was published. It was presented to the political leaders, member citizens, artists, trade union leaders and professionals today. The ceremony was conducted at the BMICH.
නැවත වාරයක් අපි අභියෝගයකට මුහුණ පාලා සිටිනවා. ඒ දුෂ්කර ගමන දුෂ්කරයි කියලා අතාරින්න.
Major General Satyapriya Liyanage has been appointed as the Chief of Staff of the Sri Lanka Army by President Maithripala Sirisena. He was working as the Commandant of the Sri Lanka Army Volunteer Force and he is a senior official with a handful of experience in the Sri Lanka Army. Before he was promoted to the position of Chief of Staff of the Sri Lanka Army, he was the commander of the Overall Operations Command that coordinated the joint operations of the Tri-Forces and police operations that were carried out subsequent to the Easter Sunday attack. The Nominees Awards ceremony for those nominated at the Presidential Media Awards 2018 was held at the auditorium of the Government's Information Department.
Presidential Media Awards 2018.
The Presidential Media Awards ceremony was held on the 10th of April at the BMICH under the patronage of the President. It is the first ever President's Media Awards ceremony. There were over 1,500 applications submitted under websites, television networks, radio stations and print media organizations in Sinhala, Tamil and English languages. 42 media personnel were nominated to receive awards. 78 personnel received certificates in this ceremony conducted under the patronage of Sunil Samaravira, the Secretary to the Media Ministry. A large crowd, including ministry officials and heads of institutions, were present at the ceremony.
The Parisamengihingena Road Safety of the National Activity Program conducted by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation was lauded with an award yesterday. This recognition was bestowed on the program during a ceremony organized by the Ministry of Labour and Trade Union activities conducted under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. This program was launched in the year 2016 by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation with the intent of preventing the large number of deaths occurred due to road accidents. In launching this program, the former chairman of the National Television, attorney at law, Ravi Jayawardena, was a great influence. This program received the total blessings of President Maithripala Program. All state institutions, Sri Lanka Police, civil service organizations and private sector organizations provided their total support in conducting this Parisamengihingena national activity. As a result of this program, covering the total national student population in the country, information was imparted regarding the road safety activities. Not only the students, the program influenced the drivers of the public transport, passengers and travellers on streets on safety measures to be taken while travelling. Parallel to this program, in keeping with the Vienna Convention, all roads in the island changed from the yellow lines into white lines. This is the very reason why this program conducted by the national television was given a gigantic reception at this award ceremony conducted at the Nelumpokulam Theatre yesterday. The award was received by Program Director Palika Vijay Singh on behalf of the national television.
On Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, the best national media coverage on occupational safety.
Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation recognizes the necessities of the national atmosphere, will conduct programs like this in future as well.
Well, on the current weather situation in the country, strong winds will prevail on staggered occasions in the Central Hills, North Central and Northwestern provinces, as well as in Trincomalee, Hambantota and Matale districts. These winds will rise up to 70 kilometers per hour, says the Meteorological Department. In the Western, Central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle, Mathura and Munragala districts, these winds will be a force rising up to 50 kilometers per hour. In the western, central, Sabaragamuwa, southern and northwestern provinces, scattered rains or thunder showers will occur, according to the weather report issued by the Meteorological Department. It is indicated that in the Sabaragamuwa province and the Nuwara district, certain areas will receive torrential rain up to 100 millimeters, and in the western province, the southern province, as well as in Kandy and Mathare districts, there will be heavy rain up to 75 millimeters. Where there are thunder showers, such areas will experience temporary strong winds. As such, the Meteorological Department appeals from the public to take precautionary measures to protect themselves from lightning.
The Meteorological Department, they have issued a warning over the possibility of a strong wind in the sea areas, some areas of Sri Lanka, especially the fishermen, fishing communities and the naval communities has to pay a lot of attention with that particular warning given by the Meteorological Department. And it is clearly mentioned that the sea areas from Hambantota to Pothuwil will be rough and the wind speed could be expected 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. So we are advising to the communities who are living in the hilly areas and risky areas for the landslides has to pay a lot of attention to the possibility of the emerging the signs of the landslide. It is very important to observe the signs of the landslides.
In the areas where reservoir is associated with power generation, their water levels have gone up by 80%. In the Castle Reed Reservoir, the water level is just 5 feet from spill level, and in the Mausa Calais Reservoir, it is 15 feet from spill level. The engineers in charge say that these reservoirs were facing difficulties in electricity generation due to low levels of water earlier. With the water levels rising, the Canyon, Laksapana, New Laksapana, Pulpitiya and Vimala Surendra power stations have reached maximum level of power generation. The Ratavenuwen Ekata Sitimu National Program, based on the concept of President Maithripala Program, launched its 7th stage in Jaffna today. The intent of this program is to provide a number of facilities for the people in Jaffna. There are programs involving 15 provincial secretariat divisions in this program. Today, 13 areas including the Udukkurai and Vannirayan were serviced during this program. Under the Grama Shakti program, problems and issues prevalent in the Muruthankani Secretariat Division were taken up for discussion. As part of the program, the Grama Shakti village too came into being observed.
In this program, we have arranged today 804 projects. Out of 804 projects, up to now, 763 projects already completed. The balance 41 projects are being implemented now. It will be completed within short time. And also, we have planned to conduct tomorrow 425 projects in all 15 divisional secretariats tomorrow. So, these programs are being coordinated with the Presidential Secretariat, and all other relevant officers are participating in this program.
Among the items in the agenda of today's program was a conference to inform on the Right to Information Act. It was organized by the Vallikamam West Provincial Secretariat.
And now to give you a stock update, the all shares price index closed at 5,898.47 points, dropped by 6.55 points, and the S&P SL 20 index closed at 2,902.80 points, also dropped by 4.51 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange today. The turnover was over 281 million rupees. Here's a summary of the market details of the Colombo Stock Exchange today.
Well, that's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow for the very latest. Until then, good night.
Good night.